Hey.
Oh, again?
Hello, hello. Welcome back. Judge JLo gone for so little time, but thank you so much for that stream. That was amazing. Hope you had a good time, and appreciate the raid as well from your personal channel from the like dual cast thing we had going on. How's everybody doing in chat? Thanks for your patience with the. It was a little bit of a camera technical issue of like running OBS and getting the cameras working, but we're good and we're live now. And so now we've got the second actual, because we didn't do this last year, so we've got the second Pride panel for this event. And why don't you kick it off? We've got a very special guest this time who we have never had involved before. So welcome on, both with Extra Life National, because you're still technically in your first, no, you're beyond your first year now,
I am
right?
beyond my first year now, yeah.
Congratulations. Well, happy first year in the position. Why don't you
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself, Adam?
Hello, everybody. I'm Adam Shafani. I am the Extra Life Community Manager. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm here to talk to Judge JLo and to Mel about what it's like being an LGBTQIA plus Twitch streamer and Extra Lifer. So it's a real quick panel. We only have about 30 minutes, so we'll go into stuff like that. So first of all, JLo, great stream. I got to watch about half of it, so it was fantastic. Loved it.
Thank you.
I am always amazed, like watching people who are good at Minecraft, because I've played it all of like 2 times and I'm terrible at it, and so I'm just watching y'all play. I'm like, how are they doing all of this stuff? But so that was fantastic. So absolutely loved that. And Mel, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. A great time to be in here, and I love your background. It's really cool. So yeah, so I wanted to just pop on and say, like, thank you so much for doing this. This is incredible. And I got to watch the beginning of the stream with the video from the president of the hospital, so that was really really cool. And yeah, so first of all, I would just like to ask both of you, how did you both of you get into Extra Life, hear about it, that kind of stuff?
And let's do like names, introductions, and
Sure, go for
pronouns
it.
too, just because I want
Yes,
to. People might not have been watching the beginning and stuff, but go
sure.
for it, Jason.
So I'm JudgeJLo. Jason's fine, either one. I use he, him pronouns, and I am a primarily Minecraft streamer from Chicago.
Awesome. And I'll just, in case people just joined in real quick. Hi, if you missed my quick intro, I'm Adam. I'm the Extra Life Community Manager. I use he him pronouns, and when I do stream on my own channel, it's all kinds of random stuff.
And then, hi, my name is Melissa, Mel, and Heisenthleia is usually my gamer tag on most things. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the co-chair of events with Dave Aerodash in the chat for Extra Life, the Chicago Guild.
Yep, awesome. So I guess we'll start with JLo on this question. So JLo, how did you get into Extra Life, and like how long have you been doing Extra Life?
So my first event with Extra Life was in 2018.
Oh, me too.
Sorry. Ever since COVID, my ability to discern time has just not been accurate. It's never come
Same.
back.
Time's all made up. It's okay.
Yeah. Um, and I was watching streamers, and I there was another streamer who was streaming for Extra Life, and I was like, well, what's this? And they were telling me what Extra Life was. It's like, this is really cool. So I found there was a Chicago chapter. I did an event for the Chicago chapter on my own, and then we did the first Pride Parade, and I was able to do that and had a great time, and was super excited to hear that we're doing it again this year.
Mm,
Um, yeah, so it was kind of just by happenstance, but it's
mm.
just one of those things that when you see it, it calls to you, and like, yeah, I want to do that.
Sure.
Mm.
Mel?
Yeah, this is my. I always forget because my thing is wrong. My page, it says it's my fifth year. It's really technically my fourth year, just fifth year like
Mm,
signing up. But yeah, I always watched other like YouTubers do extra live streams, but it never felt like a thing that was like super accessible for me to do
mm,
until around the pandemic when I kind of wanted a way to celebrate my birthday because game day usually falls around my birthday, not like ever on the exact like week, but around that time.
mm,
And
mm,
I couldn't think of anything more fun to me to celebrate than to like get together with my friends, do a bunch of silly challenges, play video games and like raise money for charity because it also gives me a nice thing of like nobody has to worry about what to get me as a gift. Just get me a donation to Extra Life. That's what I really
Sure.
care about. So, yeah, so I guess technically 4 years, and then every year
Mm.
I've tried to have a new first with the, my channel and with Extra Life in general. So, like, the second year was my first year joining the board for Extra Life
Mm.
Chicago, and then this past year is my first time attending ELU in person. So,
Well,
yeah.
it was nice to see you, and thank you for spending your birthday with us every year. So,
Oh, for sure.
we love that. So both of you, can you tell me about like as a cis straight white man, I don't have the experiences of an LGBTQIA plus streamer. So could you just tell me in general, like how is that experience? Like, what are the things that are great about it, and like what are the things that you know can be frustrating, like that kind of stuff. You
Um,
jump in, either one.
yeah, so I actually have a long history with this. In a
Okay.
previous life, I used to be an event manager for Magic the Gathering, so it's
Oh,
very
okay.
similar paradigms. Um, when I first started streaming, I was really concerned about how my orientation might interact with chat.
Mm,
It's not something that everyone's just cool with, right?
sure.
Um, and of course, there's some people out there like that who pop in the chat and they want to be trolls, and that's what mods are for. God bless them. But for the most part, the gaming community has been very accepting in my
Mm,
experience. People come in, they have a good time. No one really asks inappropriate questions. Every once in
fantastic.
a while, someone asks a legitimate question, and
Oh.
we're able to have a really good dialogue and learn more about each other.
Mm,
But I would say the coolest thing about being an LGBTQIA streamer is I've had a couple of instances where queer youth have come into chat
mm,
and just wanted to talk because they didn't have anyone they felt they could do that with in their life.
mm,
And being able to be that person for them and let them know that they're not alone, they are they are welcome, they are valid, and they
mm.
are loved is I don't really have the words to express what kind of privilege that is and what
Yeah,
kind of joy that's brought me.
that is absolutely wonderful to hear that they've found you to be like a safe person that they can come confide into. So that's wonderful. I love to hear that.
And, and I would say, jumping off of that, I think that the best part, the positive parts of being a queer streamer for me are so much community, and that feels like
Mm,
the positive parts of being like queer in general, and whether that's in like my workplace or with my friends around here, or whether it's within the extra life community, is I think that
mm,
um, when you've got an identity like this that's so special to you and important to you, um, even though it's difficult to express it, you're able to kind of find other people and find each other and make connections and have find this community that you wouldn't have necessarily the privilege of getting to interact with otherwise. And so I think that
mm,
that's been the nicest part of it, is like getting to meet a lot of other streamers and have these. This is exactly what we're trying to do with this stream, right? Is like promote them and
mm,
highlight them and bring them all kind of in one place to see each other and be seen. I will say, you always have to worry, like Jason was saying, a little bit more about like what's happening in chat, what words you
mm,
have banned. And I also think this is kind of more of a broader thing about like a queer person in general. And, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I think for me, there's kind of, especially in the world today, this day to day underlying level of like awareness that you have of things that are happening that other
mm,
people don't necessarily need to worry about or pay as close attention to. And there might be a news story that you read about that is life shattering or is just like very distracting, and it's very upsetting, and you can be kind of triggered by it in a way that, like, even if it doesn't personally affect you or the people that you can see things happening, and it can take up a lot of mental energy and space in your head, and
sure.
it's hard to shake that and hard to express that with other people, who sometimes you'll be like, yeah, I just can't stop thinking about this thing that happened, and most people around you will be like, oh, I didn't hear about that, and you're like, how?
Mm,
So I think that that can be a problem when you're trying to stream regularly or even go to work regularly, like do things regularly day to day, and you have to like have that in the back of your mind lurking there and overcome it, and that's what the community helps with.
yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad the like I'm hearing that the sense of community is like a really really positive thing for both of you. And so with that, like it seems like the Chicago Guild has been fantastic with like opening their arms to the community and promoting this Twitch Pride Parade. So can y'all tell me like how this got started and like the support you get from the hospital and stuff like that?
Uh, Yeah, I mean, it was originally kind of like an idea that I had because in the pandemic, a lot of the in-person Pride events that we would traditionally go to, like the Chicago Pride Parade, which is tomorrow, by the way, for anyone
All
who's like
right.
planning on attending, very exciting. And so a lot of those normal kind of like sanctuary spaces or like spaces for queer joy and celebration, which can be such a relief. Um,
Hmm.
those spaces were not going to exist or not going to exist in the same way.
Sure.
And I wanted to have there be a space for that and also more of a space for sometimes it can kind of feel like there's no one else like you in the sphere, if you're not
Hmm.
actively like making those connections or seeing them. So it's nice to have one like the guild be so supportive and also the hospital be so supportive at helping us highlight each other, see each other, kind of make those connections for each other, people who might not have streamed together otherwise or seen each other's names otherwise,
Hmm.
have us kind of see each other and celebrate. And that goes beyond the pandemic. Like, yeah, it was a tradition born out of the pandemic, but I think it has a lot of use and exciting potential beyond it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's got this has definitely got this the solid basis of like this is can be something that y'all continue to do every year to highlight streamers of the community and to continue to promote pride for in your area and for the hot and the good the hospital does and all of that stuff.
Hmm.
So as far as like each of you, like how do you celebrate pride as like a LGBTQI plus streamer? Like on your stream, what aside from obviously your background, what are the types of things that y'all do? Are you calling, are you educating people? Or are you just talking about your experiences? Like how does that work for y'all?
Um, so one, Mel has a fantastic background. I'm
Really
like off the
does.
wall, and I'm like super jealous. I need to get my background game round up. But Pride has been a really interesting thing for me because I don't do a lot to explicitly call it out,
Okay.
but and I think a lot of it's because I show up as a queer content creator every time I go live.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I do is I talk very openly about the things in my life. Like last
Hmm.
September, I got married.
Congrats.
I talk about my husband all the time. Thank you.
Hmm.
Best person I've ever met in the world. Period.
Oh.
Love
And
that.
so I talk about things like that. You were mentioning community.
Hmm.
One of the people streaming with me, Angel,
Hmm.
he's from Denmark. He came to the
I
States for my
heard that.
wedding.
Yeah.
Like that was like someone I met online through gaming.
Hmm.
So for me, it's uh, part of this is informed by the fact that I work for a human rights organization,
Okay.
just for background. So part of how I approach most things I do is I love Pride, I love the celebration of it, but I also want people to know that like we exist all 12 months of the year.
Every day.
And everyone's valid, every month of every day of every year.
Hmm.
So I celebrate it a little bit, but I just kind of let it permeate the community that I have the privilege of being part of.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, I mean, anyone who follows me on Twitch knows that I don't actually stream super regularly. It's mostly just when I'm doing an extra life stream, and that's usually like hits the big times of the year, the ELU, the game day, sometimes tabletop appreciation, but one of those big moments in the year is this stream, and that's
Hmm.
like something important to me. So I think it's in trying to find and uplift other streamers. So I honestly feel like I spend a lot more time during Pride Month, like watching other streamers than streaming myself and like seeking out other queer creators and other
Hmm.
queer streamers. Part of the joy of this like event is that often like as I'm like hitting follow on everybody who is like either in the chat and chat talking or like anyone
Yeah.
who is streaming with us. I'm just hitting follow on everybody and they I then can follow along with their streams in the future, like in the other 365 rest of the days that those
Mm,
continue to be queer streamers, and it just keeps building community. In terms of outside of being a streamer, I definitely support, or of course I support it, but I definitely celebrate Pride in a lot of different ways in my life.
mm,
Usually doing a lot of you know, charity works and like in person stuff.
mm,
I'm part of a union. We organized a union pride event. And then like in the workplace and among my friends, I like to buy like kind of new rainbow gear and stuff from LGBTQ artists and creators that I find online. I kind of buy a bunch of stuff the month before and I bring it to work because I really want people in my workplace and my friends to be able to express themselves and
mm.
celebrate pride without cost being something that would hold them back, like the ability to like find or
Yeah.
afford sort of like pride gear and stuff. And then I do a similar thing with I like usually take a bunch of my coworkers to the pride parade, which I'm doing tomorrow.
Mm,
Is like a lot of people have gone before, but we always usually bring at least a couple people with us who have never
mm,
attended before. So it's kind of fun to kind of bring the whole crew and be like, all right, let's go, let's all be safe, let's have a good time.
mm.
And so yeah, it's all just kind of a month
So,
long of that stuff.
small confession on pride parades here. There's a pride parade, and I live in Memphis, Tennessee. There's a pride parade here in Memphis every year, and I've never gotten to go because it's always when I leave for vacation. So like and like even if we change weeks, the pride parade changes weeks to be when I'm gone, which like I hate it because it looks I see all the pictures on Instagram or on Twitter or whatever. It looks really, really fun. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go to that. And then it's next year. Oh, it's when I'm on vacation. But well, I'm glad to hear that for both of you, like, how you both celebrate or represent in your community. I love that you've created these communities where um it's obviously for who you are, it's the normal thing for everybody, and so it's not something you have to call attention to. You just get to be, as opposed to like if you're going to some, let's say, some random convention, like that's not always the case, and you want to represent there, with a wristband or, you know, I've recently I was at PAX East and like a lady had rainbow hair and like that was really
Oh.
cool. So, but well, I'm glad to see that like you both feel very comfortable with the guild and with doing this extra life pride parade and calling attention to this portion of the community, because I think it's really important. And so you've got what, I guess two more streamers, so three if you include yourself, Mel, for the rest of the day, and then y'all have got some really, really great things coming up. I looking at the schedule here. I'm definitely gonna stay on and watch after for when Jackie comes on after me, because I've never gotten to meet her, or them. I'm not sure their pronouns. I apologize.
Her.
Uh, okay, gotcha. And so yeah, so that's been really great. I'm glad to see that there's a following for this community and that y'all are doing this work and calling attention to this. So let me ask both of you, like, switching back to the extra life side, like what does extra life mean to both of you? Like I know you said about like how you found it, but what is it that keeps you coming back every year to extra life?
Um, for me, it's really an extension of, like I said, my whole career when I used to
Mm,
do run magic events. I have always had a great amount of derived joy from helping others find
mm,
joy. Um, Gaming has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. All
mm.
of my groomsmen, including my best man, I met through gaming. Every last one of them.
Awesome. That's
So
really
And
cool.
cool.
yeah, we've been friends for 25 years.
Mm,
So like being able to use gaming as a vehicle to help others find community and
mm.
entertainment, sometimes comfort, because the world can be a really tough place to live in sometimes,
Yes,
right?
it can.
So like being able to use the thing that I love so much to bring a smile to someone else, it's just the coolest thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
Um, and I mentioned this on my stream. I think I mentioned it here. Being able to do that, I really do see it as a privilege.
Mm,
It's a privilege to be able to do that, and there is no other way I'd rather spend a Saturday morning than doing
mm.
that. So when I saw
Okay.
the announcement go up, like, yeah, I'm doing that. Period.
Hmm.
I think you were our
Quick.
first person to sign up. Yeah. You're
So, quick question for you. So, since you're a Minecraft streamer, like, have you ever done the like Extra Life EOU like Minecraft competition?
I have not.
Okay.
So you mentioned earlier about being good at Minecraft. I was very highly flattered, because I think I am adequate at
Okay.
Minecraft.
It's a
But I
very
don't
big
mind a
community,
challenge.
so okay.
Yeah, it is, and I'm more of a technical person, so I'm working
Okay.
on the building aspect. But
Hmm.
if it's another opportunity to interact with people who just want to play, play games and have fun, I would
Hmm.
absolutely be there. So now I have something else to look for.
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
We'll look for maybe 2024. You can join one of the teams.
I'd recommend it. Yeah.
Yep. And
Uh,
Mel, hopping back to the question, go ahead.
yeah, I think my favorite thing about Extra Life, what kind of brings me back to it, is it really meets you where you are,
Mm.
and meets you at not more than where you are. It meets you like where you want to be and where your passions are, and that's what
Oh
I
yeah.
really like about it. Because like, we play games, heal kids, but there's so many aspects of that, and there's so many different definitions of what that could be, and
Mm.
it's truly one of the most like as far as charities go, it's one of the most like grounded in the vision and the inspiration of its members that I've ever
Mm.
seen. Because like of course, we playing video games, we do tabletop games, and we do board games, those kind of things. But there's so much else that I've seen this community do. We do this like
Hmm.
pride sort of stream, and like if what you want to do is express the part of yourself that is, about your like gender, your sexuality, you can do
Hmm.
that and turn that into extra life streaming. If you
Yeah.
like cooking or you like baking, I've seen people do like cooking or baking streams. We've got a member of the Chicago Guild who makes like homemade pizzas and homemade wine, and that's like
I'm
cool
sorry.
as
What?
hell. Right? Right? It's like
I want
an
to follow this channel.
you should. It's an exclusive list too. You've got to like, get it because it runs out. But it's like,
Mm.
people take the thing like their family does like wine and pizza, and so they're like,
Mm.
okay, let's turn that into an extra life incentive. So many artists. Earlier we had Klingon Pop Warrior in here, who's a musician who writes
Mm.
like like musical covers in Klingon because she's fluent.
Wow.
Right?
That's so
She's so
cool.
cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a
Um,
massive Star Trek fan, so like this is
Me too. So she's cool as hell. And so I think that's really, and like, you go talk about ELU and like we were competing in a rock, paper, scissors competition. That's a
Oh
game.
yeah.
We were competing in a Simon Says competition, which I may have disrupted a little bit.
Oh,
Sorry about
that was
that.
a terrible idea, by the way. Like we would never do that again.
But those are such like unique experiences, and like who can say that like these are the sort of things that we get to do for
Mm.
charity and for these incredible children's hospitals. So that's my long-winded way of saying that I think that's my favorite thing about Extra Life is it can
Sure.
be we've got cosplayers, like whatever your interest is, wherever you are or you want to be, whether it's like
Mm.
something that you're passionate about now or something you want to learn how to do and get more passionate about, you can
Mm.
make that extra life, and that's what I like
Yeah.
so much about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're completely right. Since my view of Extra Life when I was an Extra Lifer myself, I still am. I still fundraise, but was very narrow of like, oh, I just get together in a house with my friends and we play video games and have a crazy time. And now being the community manager, like I always watched a few people, but now being the community manager, very much to your y'all's point of like, people can show up how they want to and do what they want. I see streams that like with ideas that I would have never thought about, and it's absolutely insane. So yeah, and you brought up the Simon Says thing at EOU. Who would have thought gamers would just be really good at Simon Says and not get knocked out?
Or
So
find loopholes in the system,
oh yeah, or find oh yeah, the rules lawyers in the Extra Life community are vast.
hmm
So so
you
yeah.
give gamers a game, we'll break it.
Oh,
That's
that's
exactly what
true.
we did. That's exactly what happened. Is like you gave the gamers a game, and they one were very competitive, and two, broke the game. And like, I know it was super chaotic, but highlight for a
Mhm.
lot of people, a lot of good times. So I think it's just cool to see like
Yeah.
what people make of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was. it was fantastic being on here. We've got like a minute left, so thank you so
We
much for
can
having me.
also
And
run a couple
okay,
minutes over. It's not a big deal.
okay,
Don't feel
okay,
super confined, but go on.
but okay. I just wanted to make sure Jackie had her time. So, so thank you both so much for having me on and letting me ask you some questions as someone who's from outside the community, and but part of the grander extra life community. So I really appreciate that y'all are doing this. It's been really fun to watch. I'm gonna watch as much as I can today, while trying to dodge chores. So, and then later on this afternoon, unfortunately, I've got to go to a JDRF event because my son is type 1 diabetic. So that's actually how I got into Extra Life, is through my son. And so yeah, so it's been a lot of fun having the chance to be on here and to watch the stream. It's really, really um, special to see this community come together, even if it's just people in Chicago, in the Chicago area, raising for Lurie Children's. Um, it's very, very inspiring, and I love seeing the passion you all have, and the love you grant your community is absolutely fantastic. So thank you
Yeah.
so much
And
for having me here. I appreciate it.
absolutely, and I do want to take that time to acknowledge and say that like we're so thrilled, Adam, that you wanted to be involved with this. It's the first year we've had like someone from national involved, and it's just super exciting that that you wanted to
Well,
take the time out of your Saturday, which you probably could have been doing so many chores. Very exciting
I
chores.
choose the chores,
Um, you
or playing either Zelda or
sacrificed.
Final Fantasy, either one.
Either way, a noble sacrifice. And but we really do. I mean, it's more than just like taking the time. We really, I
Mm,
think, I can speak for myself at least. I think this community feels very seen by
mm.
you taking the time to be involved. So thank you.
Well, I am very privileged to be here, so thank you for letting me be involved. So I appreciate that. I don't want to. It says definitely have more Zelda to play. Yeah, that's true. Uh, so, um,
Everyone does.
Yeah.
yeah, it's this is on a gaming note. Like the next few months are just an onslaught of releases if you play a lot of the things that are like constantly coming out.
Hmm.
But anyway, I could go on about games for days. But thank you so much for having me. I don't want to take up Jackie's time. And I really, really appreciate it. So I don't know how you want me to like
Sign off.
outro.
We're all good. It always feels awkward. Every single time it feels awkward to intro, it feels awkward to outro, and then you watch it
Mm.
back later and you're like, oh, I sounded fine. Like, what was
Yeah,
I
it's
worried
all
about?
right. Yeah.
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 Well,
Um, we'll
JLo and
sign off.
Mel, JLo, I've met Mel in person, so very nice to meet you, Mel. Good to see you again. I gave you the Nerd Nutter one that followed you earlier. That's me,
Oh,
and so
Thank you.
I yeah, absolutely. So
cool,
so
cool.
yeah, y'all have a great rest of the Pride Parade, and I'll keep watching.
Sounds good. Thank you
All
guys
right,
so much.
thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Oh, sure.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you again to our panelists for joining me. Honestly, I think every year the Pride panel is like, when whatever iteration it takes, is like one of my absolute favorite parts of the stream. But now is a new favorite part of the stream where we get to meet Jackie, our new hospital contact. You've been around for a couple months now, but you haven't really gotten to like be, on screen for the community yet, I don't think. So why don't you say hi?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I actually started a month and a half ago, so it's very new for me. My name is Jackie. My pronouns are she, her. I've actually been with Lurie Children's for nearly 4 years now, though this role is new to me. The hospital is not. Prior to this role, I was an activity coordinator, so I was in the hospital space, directly working with patients and families, providing normalization. We really focused on the emotional well-being of patients. So while they were getting like all of like the physical things done, we were making sure that they were having fun and they were feeling seen, feeling heard, being interacted with in a more gentle and fun way. So one of the ways that we did that was our Pride Parade is our Pride Parade. We had that a few days ago. We've had it every year for I don't know how long. It's one of the ways that we do celebrate Pride during Pride Month. On top of story time with drag queens, which Mel was able, you were able to come yesterday and see it. We have, Pride related activities all week, all month. And then as I was talking to Mel, we are really looking forward to kind of like expanding the celebration of Pride outside of the month. So great to do that during June, but like I really am not the biggest fan of it just like kind of like falling off the second it turns July. So um yeah, that's a little bit of background on me. It was a bit long. I apologize.
Not at all. We've got 9 whole minutes to talk about you, so you're so fine.
Great. Happy introvert. I love that. Bring it on. No, I'm kidding.
No,
Um
no, no, it's great. What would you say? So, how long, if you don't mind me asking, have you been with the hospital?
yeah, so I've been with the hospital nearly 4 years. I think I'm at like 3 years and 8 months. It's a little bit wonky, I feel like, because I started just before the pandemic. I started in December of 2019, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then the pandemic happened, if you didn't know. And I was contingency at the time, so they actually put on a contingency freeze. Contingency, if anyone doesn't know, it's kind of like on an as-needed basis. And so the hospital completely shut down. There were a lot of furloughs. And one of the ways that they like were protecting the patients was by putting on a contingency freeze. So I actually wasn't in the hospital from March until September or October. Um, and then I was hired as the donations coordinator in July of 21. So I actually managed all of the in-kind donations that were coming in, all of the toys. Holidays were a mess and chaotic and beautiful all at the same time. Like truly the way that the community comes together to support patients is it's really cool. Um, and then yeah, I did that for a little bit and I'm here now as the program director for Extra Life at Lurie Children's with our foundation.
Love it. Are you much of a gamer or not so much? You're looking to be.
That's a very, yeah, that's a very good question. So gaming has been an integral part of my life. Like, no doubt. I got my Nintendo 64 when I was 6 years old, and I never looked back. I wouldn't say that I'm a gamer. Like, for example, like I have no idea how to use Twitch. Like I just learned emotes and I thought it was the coolest thing. Like,
You're a good
not
streamer, gamer, extra lifer. It's a million
yeah,
roles.
so many roles. But yeah, I play games almost daily. Like I play video games almost daily. A lot of it is Nintendo, a lot of it is comfort from growing up, so like comfort games, and then like some new games as well on the PS5 and Switch.
Awesome. That's cool. Were you very familiar at all with like Extra Life or what Extra Life did before you took on this role, or is this like your first introduction to it?
Absolutely. So yes, I was familiar with Extra Life prior to this role. I actually went to C2E2 last year, and it's if anybody knows, like the CTE2 schedule has been a little bit weird. So I went in October of last year because it was pushed back to the pandemic. And I had met Macy Hansen, our previous program director for Extra Life, who is just an absolute light and joy and just a beautiful person. Um, and we were able to talk about Extra Life. And I had said to myself in that moment that if she did ever leave or transfer or whatever, that I would love to apply for that position. So she did, which is so bittersweet. We miss her, but that allowed space for me to be able to apply, and here I am.
Yeah, a super
Um,
exciting opportunity.
yeah, oh, absolutely. We also do Game On in the hospital, which, if you don't mind, I'm gonna plug a little bit.
Oh, please do.
Uh,
That's what this space is for. You're good.
Great. So Game On is in the Panda Care Center of Hope of the hospital. It's our inpatient play center, and we have once a month we have a gaming um, game show, sort of. It's like you can come in, play games, you play with patients, and then you also play on Skylake TV, which is kind of like our closed circuit production network, which allows us to film things, and then it goes up into the hospital, into every single room inpatient, so that patients who aren't feeling well, patients who are in isolation, patients who just don't want to come down, they can also participate and watch whatever is happening in the space. So, if you are an extra lifer and you are interested in coming into the hospital and gaming with kids, please let me know. And we can see if we can find a time that we're able to make that work.
Definitely do it. I've heard nothing but good things. It's been on my list of something to do with the hospital for so long because have always hear about it.
Yeah.
And like every time I visited the hospital is like such a gift and such a delight. It's such a beautiful space. So yeah, I'm interested, but I haven't been able to find a time yet. But we're definitely gonna do that. So
Yeah, it is hard because it is once a month at a certain time, like on a Wednesday. It's really not the best timing for anyone. But we were talking, Mel and I, yesterday as well, when she was in the hospital, about having other events in the space that are not necessarily game on, but related to gaming and that would resonate with patients. Maybe doing a game show or an event around the LGBTQIA plus community if like we want to like highlight some games made by LGBTQIA plus video game producers and makers and have like an hour to do that. Um, so I really like am truly in this unique position where like this was my previous role, so I know it very well, and so we can really expand and do like really cool new things around gaming in the hospital.
I love that. And, speaking of that, Dave in the chat has literally read my mind. I've been just sitting here when we were talking about hyping things and promoting things. We were promoting Game On, which everybody should sign up for if you're interested, or ask one of us for more information. The other day that you should definitely mark your calendars for is October 7th. We are having our second annual ELCGC. So, whether or not you were able to make it to the first one, that is our Extra Life Charity Gaming Convention. Last year was the inaugural year. It was so much fun, such a whirlwind, and like overwhelming in the best possible way. When I think back of that day, it was so fun and in like a dreamlike state. It was amazing. And so I am more excited for this year than I can say. It will be held at the hospital this year. So you got a time, you got a place, October 7th at the hospital. Just get excited.
Yeah, it'll be so great to have it at the hospital. I think we're really tying in the mission and everything that like we stand for our core values and bringing it to the Extra Life Chicago Gaming Convention. So it'll be like on the 11th floor, which is where a lot of the conference rooms are, but we have this really cool sky garden that has like fake palm trees and it's kind of jungle-like and so and a little bit kind of like mazy. So
Hmm.
we'll have like a lot of games like set up in there and then kind of just like throughout the space. And then we're hoping that patients, if they're feeling well enough, they can also come down. So we're really, really bringing everything kind of like home and center.
Yeah.
It'll be it'll be really great. So please do come. There will be like social media posts and all of that surrounding this, I think after 4th of July. So just keep tabs on that and um yeah,
Yeah.
we'd love to see you.
Keep an eye on our socials. Please join our Discord if you're not a member of it yet. All of that is a great place to keep up to date on these events when there's going to be another like sort of stream like this one. We're looking to utilize this Twitch channel a lot more going forward. So if you're interested in streaming to our Twitch channel, kind of like something like this, but outside of maybe an event like this, we're definitely looking to highlight streamers within the Extra Life Chicago community through the channel as well. So there's like so much exciting stuff coming up right now. I'm like on top of the world for Extra Life Chicago. So thank you very much for being here to talk with us about some of it.
You're so welcome. And everyone, please stay tuned. We're here until what time?
7:30
7:30.
p.m. This might be
7:30.
the longest this event has ever been. This might be. I'm excited.
So great. It's so great. Pop in, go get a snack, go take a walk, come back. We'll be here. Mel will be here. We'll all be here. Cool.
Absolutely. Thank you so much one more time to Jackie. Give her a huge shout out in the chat. A very warm welcome. We're so excited to have her on the team. It's already been amazing. And stay tuned. I'm going to hand off the stream next to Noble One. Michaela's going to take the reins next, and we'll see what she'll be streaming. She's a second year streaming with us for this event, and so we're so excited to have her back.
So excited. Awesome. All right. Bye.
Bye.